Hello everyone, this is Shivali from the Sweet Boutique. Welcome back to the Cottage Bloom series. In today's tutorial, we are creating these beautiful rustic garden roses using soft cream, caramel and muted green tones inspired by vintage cottage gardens. If you've missed episode 1, make sure to check it out. I'll link the entire Cottage Bloom series in the description below. Let's get started. I'm starting with a soft cream buttercream with a subtle hint of yellow. Using piping tip number 104, I'm creating the main focal rose slightly off-center on the cupcake. I begin by piping a cone in the center, which acts as the foundation of the rose. Then I wrap the first few petals tightly around the cone to create the center of the flower. As I move outward, the petals gradually become more open, creating the natural blooming appearance of a garden rose. If you'd like to learn the complete rose piping technique in detail, I have a dedicated rose tutorial on my channel. I'll leave the link in the description below. Now I'm moving on to the empty spaces and creating 2 rosebuds. For these buds, I'm using a dual-tone buttercream. One side of the piping bag contains a caramel-toned buttercream, while the other side contains the same cream shade used for the main rose. I'm still using piping tip number 104. I start with a small cone as the base and then pipe just a few tightly wrapped petals around it. Since these are rosebuds rather than fully bloomed roses, the petals remain much more closed and compact. Once the buds are formed, I'm switching to green buttercream while continuing with tip number 104. Using the narrow end of the tip facing outward, I pipe protective outer petals around the buds. These resemble sepals and help create the appearance of buds that are only partially opened. This simple step adds so much realism and gives the arrangement a beautiful rustic garden feel. Now it's time to fill the remaining spaces. I'm using muted green buttercream with piping tip number 352 to create leaves around the flowers. The leaves help frame the arrangement, add texture, and bring the entire composition together. And just like that, our Rustic Garden Roses cupcake is complete. It may look intricate and detailed, but when you break it down step by step, it's actually very simple to create. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this tutorial. Also be sure to watch episode 1 of the Cottage Bloom series and explore my other floral cupcake tutorials. I'll link everything in the description below. See you all in my next episode of Cottage Bloom series. Take care.